Hello, my name is Dr. Sarah Wooten and I am a small animal veterinarian, and in this video we are going to be talking about the top 10 signs that your dog is depressed and needs some attention. So one sign that your dog could be depressed is that they are having changes in their sleep patterns. So if your dog normally sleeps anywhere from 10 to 12 hours per day, which is pretty much normal for dogs, they can even sleep more, and then suddenly starts sleeping a lot more, or suddenly starts sleeping a lot less, maybe they're keeping you up at night, then there's something going on with their emotions and their mental state. Now, this could be something that is just due to something that's stressing them out or causing them problems, or it could be an underlying medical issue. And that's the thing I want to tell you with each of these signs that I'm giving you that your dog could be depressed. It could be something that's just because of their emotional state, but a lot of these can also be confused for the signs of sickness. So it's important that if you are seeing these signs in your dog, that you really perk up and pay attention to see if there's been something different in their environment that could cause them to have, say, changes in their sleep pattern, or is there something going on in their body or in their brain that's causing them to have changes. So again, if you notice an increase in sleeping or even a decrease in sleeping, that's a sign that something going on and you need to investigate. Okay, the number 2 sign that your dog could be depressed is that they don't find the same amount of enjoyment in the activities that they used to really love, or they don't have the same level of exuberance, or they aren't, pushing you to go do things that they used to love, like walks, for example, or playing games of fetch, or training, or any of the things that you do with your dog. If you're noticing that their get up and go is kind of got up and went, then that could be a sign that there's something that is causing them to feel depressed, whether it's medical or changes in the environment, and it's a sign that you gotta pay attention. All right, the number 3 sign that your dog could be depressed is that they are no longer finishing all their food. So if your dog normally goes to their bowl of food and eats it all down with gusto within a couple of minutes, and that has suddenly changed, then that could be a sign that there's something going on with your dog. Now, if your dog is normally a grazer, it's harder to tell, and you'll have to kind of clue into other things that are going on in your dog's life to see if there is actually anything different. But super easy sign, if that bowl of food is suddenly having food left over, your dog is either feeling sick, or they're feeling depressed, or maybe they're feeling in pain, or maybe they're feeling stressed. So that is another clue for you to pay attention to. Okay, another sign, the 4th sign that your dog could be depressed is increased irritability, grouchiness, aggression, right? So if your normally happy-go-lucky dog has suddenly become sullen, withdrawn, or maybe growling when you come near them, that is a sign that there's something going on with their emotional state. And it could be just something, that is stressing them out, or it could be something like pain. A lot of people, when their dogs get older, they come to me and they say, hey, he's just been a lot grouchier than he used to. And then we do an assessment for pain, and we find that the dog has some hidden arthritis pain. And then we get the dog treated, and then suddenly the dog is happy again. So a lot of these signs that I'm telling you could be also the hidden signs of pain. So what's really great is now you're going to have this knowledge and you'll be able to help your dog sooner. So that's the number 4. If there's changes in their personality towards increased irritability, grouchiness, growling, biting, something that you definitely need to pay attention to, talk to your veterinarian, get a health checkup, and then also if everything checks out okay, talk to a behaviorist. Okay, the number 5 sign that your dog could be depressed or bored or stressed is excessive licking. So dogs, in particular, I would say some of the large breed dogs like Labrador retrievers, golden retrievers, and mixes with these particular animals, also other large breed dogs, they can lick themselves to the point where they create a tumor on their leg called an acrolick granuloma or acrolick dermatitis. So what it looks like is it's usually on the top of their forearm is a typical place for it because frankly, it's just easy for them to get to, and they sit there and they lick and they lick and they lick. And the reason they do this is because licking actually releases endorphins into their brain that can help them feel happier or less stressed. Sometimes they can also lick an area raw if it's painful due to underlying arthritis. Other areas that are common for acrolick granulomas or dermatitis is on the back legs as well, down near the ends. A lot of times on the tops of the foot can be a common place. These can be a sign that your dog is bored, stressed, has underlying pain, needs to get out, and needs some veterinary attention. So that is my number 5 sign. The number 6 sign that your dog could be depressed is changes in the way they vocalize, their vocalizations, how they talk to you. So if you're noticing that your dog has an increase in the amount of whining or whimpering or howling is a big one, then that's a sign that their emotional state is distraught and you need to intervene. This always was a thing with my dog, Alma. When we would go on vacation, we would board her at my veterinary hospital, and the people who were working at the hospital said she was okay for about 5-6 days, and then after that she would stick her little nose in the fence and howl because she was so depressed because her people were not here, they were gone. So if your dog has changes in their vocalization, could be a sign that they're depressed. The number 7 sign that a dog could be depressed is increased clingy behavior. So if your dog has suddenly become Velcro dog, your dog was chilling out fine and now suddenly they are like on you all the time, that could be a sign of anxiety or it could be a sign of depression. And so when you see things like that, you need to look around in your environment and see what's changed. Did you go back to work, right? That is a big thing for a lot of pet parents right now, is they're dealing with stressed, depressed pets because these animals were adopted during the pandemic. They got used to their person being around all the time and now the person's not around all the time. Could cause some depression, and the way to mitigate that is increase playtime, get some visitation during the day, make sure that you have things for the dog to do when you're gone, things like that. But if you are noticing that your dog is more clingy than they used to be, that's a sign that there's something going on with their emotional state and you gotta intervene. The number 8 sign that your dog could be depressed is accidents in the house. So suddenly losing their house training and urinating or defecating inside the house, especially if they're doing this when you're not there. That could be a sign that they're depressed because you're gone, or maybe they're anxious because you're gone, and so they have accidents. Now, this can also be confused with medical problems. If your dog is having accidents due to diarrhea, then that's not a depression thing, that's a medical problem. If they're having accidents in the house because they are incontinent or they have an infection, then that is not depression, that is a medical condition. So if your pet was previously house trained and has lost their house training, again, get thee to the veterinarian, get them checked out. Also pay attention to what is going on in their environment. Did you know that dogs can get depressed if somebody dies, if one of their people die or one of their animal friends die? Actually, they really can. They can also get depressed if somebody moves out of the house, right? So if you go through a breakup or a child leaves or something like that, it can really cause a lot of upset. Fortunately, there's a lot of good ways to help these animals move through this. And all of these are just signs and clues that you got to pay attention and get them some help. All right, the number 9 sign that your dog could be depressed is destructive behavior. So like we talked about, a lot of people are going back to work, back to the office, back away from their pet for long periods of time. And this can cause a lot of anxiety and actually depression within our companion animal population. And one of the things could be that they're bored, right? Or they're anxious because you're not there. And then that can lead them to chew things up or shred things or Yeah, pretty much that excessive digging, shredding, things like that. Those are your dog's way of coping with their negative emotional state. And so if you're seeing that, that's a sign that something is not right and you've got to get some changes in your pet's routine and their interactions with you so that they are feeling like they're in a better mental, emotional state. Okay, the number 9 sign that your dog could be depressed could be that they have stopped obeying your commands. So if you have a normally obedient dog and suddenly they're just not following or doing what you're telling them to do anymore, could be a sign of an emotional upset. Right? Could be that they're flooded with stress hormones and they are super anxious, or maybe they are experiencing some sort of loss. And so the priority of them obeying your commands just kind of goes down. Now, again, there are other medical conditions that can be confused for this, including doggy dementia. So dogs can get a form of Alzheimer's just like humans, can cause them to lose and it's in older dogs, can cause them to lose their house training. It can cause them to forget things. It can cause them to not obey. So that could be something that you are dealing with instead of depression. Also, again, I'm going to circle back around to pain. Anytime an animal is in pain, that's what they're thinking about. They're not thinking about playing or obeying commands or anything else. They're thinking about the pain. So again, all of these are just clues, and while they definitely could show that your dog is suffering from a low mental and emotional state, by the way, depression is not an actual diagnosable state in pets yet, right? Anxiety is, but depression isn't, but we're working on it. But having said that, it is our job always, and your job as well, to make sure that there's not something going on in that pet's body that is causing these changes in behavior. So if your dog is exhibiting any of these 10 signs, make sure that you have had them checked out by a veterinarian so that you can rest assured that it's not a medical problem. Once you are in the clear, now you can start looking around in your environment and see what has changed. What has changed in this pet's environment to cause them to not be as good mentally and emotionally. And then you can start your intervention strategies. Increased enrichment through food puzzles and training, and increased time together, more exercise and fresh air. It's good for everybody. Better nutrition, more interaction with different kinds of people, lots of different things that you can adjust. So those are what I have for you to kind of evaluate your dog's mental and emotional state and then see what needs to be changed. If your dog's not showing any of these, you're good. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Sarah Wooten. This is all about dogs. I come on here and I talk about health topics, behavior topics. So if this has been helpful to you, or if you're noticing something with your pet and you'd like to share it with me, we'll leave it in the comment section below this video. Also, if you would like to learn more about your dog's health, hit subscribe. I'll be back with more videos, giving you more insider tips, more veterinary hot knowledge, and just bringing you the things that you need so that you can care for your pet in the best way possible. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again soon.